All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, June 21st, 2022 at 7:00 p.m. And this is a meeting of the Lee School Committee. We are meeting in a hybrid fashion. Some members of the committee are here at Lee Middle and High School in the library. Members of the general public and other school committee members are joining us via Zoom. We are in a virtual meeting room per Governor Baker's order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. This meeting will take place virtually via Zoom. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and again, pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, I am hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of the meeting. At this point, I'd like to ask us to join in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The mission statement of the Lee Public Schools is to ensure students have the opportunities to develop the social, civic, and critical thinking skills to thrive in an ever-changing world. Ms. Bianco, could I ask you to take the roll, please?
Mr. Kinnis.
Yes.
Ms. Krashurik.
Here.
Norman.
Here.
Mr. Nichols.
Here.
Ms. Strickler.
Yes, here.
Mrs. Wadsworth.
Here.
Okay, our first order of business tonight is the Lee School Committee reorganization. At this point, I would entertain a motion or a nomination for the position of chairperson.
I nominate Andrea Larman as chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any additional nominations? Hearing none. Ms. Bianco, could you take the roll call?
I'm sorry, who seconded that motion, please?
You can give it to Randy.
Mr. Kinnis.
Mr. Kinnis.
Yes.
Mrs. Krashurik.
Yes.
Norman.
Yes.
Mr. Nichols.
Yes.
Ms. Strickler.
Yes.
Mrs. Wadsworth. Mrs. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations. Your meeting now.
Lois, we sent Aaron home because it's your anniversary and he shouldn't be here. So you need to hang up and go spend your anniversary with your husband. I don't know if she can hear me. Okay.
Thank you for that lovely gift. I do appreciate it. However, it's a school night for me, so it's not like we can do anything and enjoy it. So
Don't care. You should be spending your evening with your husband. He should not be, and you should not be attending school committee meetings. Hang up and go spend time with your husband.
okay, but just know it's because you made me.
All
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Hi, Lois. All right, next up, we need to vote for a vice chairperson. So I will entertain a motions for vice chairperson.
I'd like to nominate Kurt Nichols.
Do we have a second? A second. Any discussion? Any other nominations? All right, Brenda, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Kinnis.
Yes.
Ms. Krashurik.
Yes.
Ms. Larman.
Yes.
Mr. Nichols.
Yes.
Ms. Strickler.
Yes.
Mrs. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Congratulations, Kurt.
Hey,
All right.
Kirk.
Okay. Next thing on our, before we go on to that, I personally want to thank all of the school committee members for all of the stuff we did as a team last year. I think we got some amazing things done. I also personally want to thank Andrea for really helping me out last year. This has been a very big learning curve for me. She's been readily available to me. So thank you, Andrea. I hope you are still readily available to me because I'm still learning. So thank you all, team. You have been there as we've needed it. We've gotten a lot of stuff done, and I hope we can get a lot more stuff done this year. Also, I know it's not on the agenda, but we also need to talk about doing our goals again. So keep that in mind. We need to do our rubric again. Okay. Next up on our agenda is approval of the May 3rd, 2022 Lee School Committee meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the school committee meeting minutes from May 3rd, 2022.
Second. Any discussion? Brenda, can you do a roll call for us, please?
Mr. Kenneth,
You're muted. Push your space bar.
I did that and it didn't work, Andrea. So yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Abstain. I missed that one.
Mrs. Larmen,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Ms. Strickler,
Yes.
Mrs. Wadsworth,
Yes. Did I miss that one too? I didn't think I did. So yes, unless I missed it, which I'm trying to figure out. So yeah.
Did.
Did I?
Yes.
Okay, I'm abstaining, so I don't agree. I am abstaining.
Thank you. Okay. Next up, we have public input with Kirk.
Members of the public are invited to address the committee at this time. Issues raised will normally be referred to the administration or a subcommittee of the school. Nobody, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. All right, next up, we have our reports. First up, we have superintendent's update with Michael Richard.
All right. Let me get this shared. Okay, thanks for your patience while I got that settled. We're going to be relatively quick. June school is over. We finished a week ago yesterday, and congratulations and thank you to all of the staff in every capacity in the district for, similar to Ms. Larman's comments, making it a successful year. Survival was the name of the game over the last couple of years, and I think we have thrived more than just survived. So congratulations and thank you to everybody for their hard work. We were up one student from previous, so we're at 634. As a reminder to those people in the general public who may be paying attention, our school choice window is going to close on us in about a week. We do have a number of interested families, and we're thankful for that interest, and we hope to maybe generate some additional interest in the coming week so we can try to have some healthy numbers in all of our classes across the district. We've hired a number of new staff already. They're listed here on the screen in front of you, most of whom, or all but one of whom I have met with to onboard. They include Kelly Vosberg, Annie Fielding, Rebecca Cuevas, Amy McGovern, Ellie Kim, and Katie Morin. I'll be meeting with Brandon Pfeiffer tomorrow with the expectation that he'll sign and onboard with us. So we've got a number of new combination of new and veteran teachers who are going to bring a new level of excitement to the Lee Public Schools in various capacities. So thanks to the principals and directors for their hard work in scheduling interviews, and the committee members of those interview teams who have sacrificed their time to make sure we find the highest quality people to join our staff. Comfort Dogs update. Ollie, Maisie, and Millie are with their primary handlers. Their primary handlers are getting training over the summer, and they're excited to have their puppies be engaged in day-to-day activities with students and staff come August. This policy subcommittee will need to meet sometime before school opens to make sure that our policy reflects the welcoming of the Comfort Dogs. Capital project updates. The concrete work that was scheduled for this fiscal year will be completed soon. The gymnasium work that is for fiscal year 23 is underway with basic dismantling of the bleachers happening, so that those wooden bleachers are being taken apart. A note to the general public, spectators for volleyball in the fall, the seating is going to be limited to chairs in the sidelines because the bleachers probably will not be installed until late October or early November. And the LES playground plan is in place. Principal Mertnook and Mr. Meyer are working with the company who will be doing the replacement and updating of the broken and deteriorated equipment. And then the scoreboard that the committee voted to approve the purchase of earlier this year is scheduled to be installed next Monday, June 27th. I do see Ms. Wadsworth had her hand up.
Yes.
Well, I have a question, but I'm gonna defer and ask it later if I need to.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just about the bleachers.
Thing.
I might not ask it.
That was, I mean, believe it or not, as crazy as it is, that's kind of our update in a nutshell here. It's been a wild month. I know that Principal Briganti's got an update to share. And while Mr. Mertnook is on vacation, he did send me something that I'll forward to the committee for your review so you guys can see his bullet points.
Go ahead, Andrea.
Oh, no, I'm good. No, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
I've actually a couple questions.
Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Can you go back to enrollment, please? So student enrollment, that's total number per class, per grade? That's including choice and tuition?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so I didn't see that we had like 72 kids in grade 3. That's okay.
And that does not include.
No, of this, no. Grade 3 is 51 students.
Right.
That includes 20
choice
and
one tuition, and the other 30 come from the town.
Correct.
Okay, great. And then comfort dogs, we have 3 dogs?
Correct.
Did we discuss, did we discuss having 3 total?
So the discussion was to accept the donation
Okay,
of the dogs.
Right.
And it was settled on 3.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
So there's one that is assigned primarily at each building, and there's one that will float as needed.
Floater.
Okay.
between the two.
I had in my mind that we had 1 per building, so I saw 3. I was like, wait, hold on a second. But that's that.
And the students and the staff had a voice in the naming the dogs. They were surveyed. We took the top few names and then did one final poll, and that's how we arrived at those names. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
you're welcome.
And I know that there are primary handlers and
And then there are
secondary
a slew of secondary handlers.
And knowing that there's another school district where the primary handler is not in the school or hasn't been recently, and the kids really miss the dog, I would hope that the policy subcommittee would take that into account when they're thinking through policies.
All right.
I have a quick question, super fast.
Go ahead. Doesn't need to be super fast.
It's quick. It's just about the new hires. I was just curious. It's great that we already have hired that many people. I was just wondering, primarily, are those made up of people retiring or people choosing to leave the district?
It's a combination of probably every departure scenario that you could imagine, Ms. Kasharik. So some resignations, retirements, et cetera.
Okay. Well, it's great that we got them filled already.
Right.
Any other questions for Mike? All right, thank you.
Chattiest report we've ever had.
I know.
It might be.
All right, I asked Mike to add something to the end of his superintendent's report, so I'm going to have him pull it up. Go ahead, pull it up. So I don't know if how many people we have in our public right now, but we are very fortunate to have Andrea. I don't know if you guys know this, but Andrea Wadsworth isn't just a financial whiz, but she's also a confectionery whiz as well. And if you haven't had a chance to try out her confectionery baked goods, I highly recommend it because she's very talented. I have had the opportunity at quite a few weddings that I have attended. But she came in and hung out with the 4th grade students recently. Here she is. And she taught them how to do some piping skills with Brandon Boulay, who's our art teacher. And not only did she teach some piping skills, but she baked cupcakes for each one of the students. So they had their own cupcake to do the piping. And I'm going to stop talking now and let Andrea talk about what she did with these kids, because not only did she do all this, but she graciously gave of her time to create all of this, but then come in during a work day. So she took time off of her busy schedule, of her work schedule, to come in and do these lessons with the fourth grade class. So Andrea, can you describe like what you were doing with these kiddos, please?
Well, and so Andrew, you're so sweet. So I thank you. So Brandon Boulay was just so wonderful. It was his idea, his creation, and I just happened to be a partner in the process. And so yes, we got a cupcake. We gave each student a bag and a tip and a coupling, and we gave them a sheet to practice their skills on, and then a cupcake to finish up. So we learned from each class. So the first class was really just figuring it out. They had a lot of frosting. They probably had a lot of belly aches, error number one.
Like frosting.
We're like, sorry about that. The second class wore a lot of it. So it was in their hair and their face. And that was cute. The third one was probably the best class because I finally kind of got it dialed in to talk about how math really impacts baking and how science and all of that. So I finally got the kudos of the teacher that I did good on the third class. So that made me feel really like I accomplished something. But the kids are wonderful. The students in the fourth grade, I think there was close to 60 of them, maybe 18, 22, I think were the classes. And Nicole's daughter was there, and she's quite an accomplished baker herself. And it was really a nice experience. I felt humbled and honored to just be part of it. And Brandon Boulay picked it up, and I don't think they'll need me next year because he'll be able to teach it himself. And I now have a very accomplished competitor who can make cakes.
I just think what a great partnership that is. And even if he's picked it up, I think it's a great thing for you to come in and do. And like I said, if you haven't tried out AW Confections, I highly recommend it. So thank you so much, Andrea, for giving of your time, because I know between BCC and doing MASC and this and all of your other endeavors, this takes up a lot of your time, so thank you for doing that. I really appreciate you doing that. So.
And if I could advocate for anything, it would be air conditioning at the second level of the elementary.
Yes, you're not wrong. I can tell you that.
Not good for frosting.
Yeah, not good for frosting. Yeah, or MCAS testing at the end of the school year.
Yes.
Or
a 50-some-odd-year-old woman.
Perfect.
And I just want to add, it was my daughter's favorite day of her whole entire school year. She said it was, in fact, the best day ever. She really enjoyed it.
And I hope it spurred a couple of those fourth graders to, have some entrepreneurial ideas moving forward, Okay, great. So moving on, I'm skipping over Tim because you're going to email out his report. So we're moving on to Greg Regenti with Lee Middle and High School.
I'll be very quick tonight. I just would like to mention that we did have a very successful graduation on June 4th. We had 57 members of the class of 22 graduate. That is 100% of the class of 22, which is excellent as well.
Yep.
And on June 10th, we held the bridging ceremony for our 8th graders that are moving on to the high school next year. It was a nice little ceremony. As Superintendent Richard pointed out, we have 7 faculty openings at LMHS for the fall. 6 of them have been filled to date, hopefully. In addition to 1 special educator position that is still open, we also have a receptionist position and an ELA interventionist position that are open as well. So we hope to fill those in the coming weeks. We're very excited with our additions to the faculty for next year. It's going to be a great group. And our summer school begins on Monday, June 27th. So we'll have some students back in the building on Monday for 4 weeks. That's it.
Thanks, Greg. Does anybody have any questions for Greg? All right, moving on. I don't see
Jen is not here, and I did ask her.
Jen is at her beautiful cabin. Lucky her. So she would send something out if she had.
If she has anything,
Yep.
she would send it. I didn't receive anything, but I did get something from Jordan. Jordan's in a class tonight, and I will forward that along with Principal Martinook's report.
Okay. All right, moving on to committee reports. Randy, you are up, Finance Subcommittee.
All right, yep. So on the Finance Subcommittee, we had 2 warrants that were approved earlier this evening. And I'll wait for Mike just to get that up on the. So the first one was the accounts payable for a total of $253,956.32. The detail is on the right-hand side where you can see where those expenses came from. And that was the accounts payable.
All right, I will entertain a motion for the accounts payable.
A motion to accept the accounts payable warrant in the amount of $253,956.32.
Second.
Any discussion? Brenda, can we do a roll call?
Mr. Kenneth,
Yes.
Mrs. Kashur,
Yes.
Ms. Larmen,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Ms. Strickler,
Yes.
Mrs. Wadsworth.
Yes.
The payroll was the second warrant that was approved. I'm going to ask Mike to just jump in and explain a little bit more about why it was it's larger than normal. But the payroll total was $1,854,611.21. So Mike, I know you had talked a little bit about where there was some timing where we paid out a bunch of different things. So if you want to elaborate on that, that'd be great.
So payroll warrants numbers 23 and 24 were, characterized as normal warrants. Payroll warrant number 25 was much larger than normal because it includes end of year stipends and other extracurricular type payouts that we need to make. So that's why we're looking at, as was noted earlier in the subcommittee, about 20% of our budget is paid out in this one payroll warrant that you guys are looking at here today. So the total, again, $1,854,611.21.
Thank you. All right, I will entertain a motion for the payroll.
I make a motion to accept the payroll as presented.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you.
Nicole.
Nicole seconded. Did you hear? Thank you. Any discussion? All right, Brenda, can you do a roll call?
Mr. Kenneth,
Yes.
Mrs. Kashur,
Yes.
Ms. Larmen,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Abstain.
Ms. Strickler,
Abstain.
Mrs. Wadsworth.
Yes.
And then the second item, we had a discussion about budget transfer, and our savvy superintendent is predicting that we're not going to have any budget transfers this year. So I'm sure that is exciting for all of us to hear.
If I could, it looks like there will be some monies moved between remaining within DAX, but not needing to move outside of DAX. But if that changes, I inform the finance subcommittee that I would ask for a special meeting to address that concern should it be necessary.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, the next thing on our committee is looking at our subcommittees. So we have all of our different subcommittees: our curriculum, diversity, equity and inclusion, finance, negotiations, policy, shared services, strategic planning, technology, and Union 29. Union 29 is a little bit different because that one we have to nominate people like we did with the chair and the vice chair. So I want to hold that one to last. But I want to look at our committees right now and see if anybody wants to change a committee that they're currently on. And I can let you know what committees you're currently on in case you've forgotten. Currently on our curriculum committee, it's Nicole, me, and Kirk.
Good with that.
You're good with that? Nicole, you good with that? All right. On our finance committee, it is currently Randy, me, and Kirk.
I am okay staying on finance committee, but if there's another member of the committee that would like to take finance only because I have conflict.
Yeah.
And it might be beneficial to have someone without a conflict on the committee in the event that another member of the subcommittee is not present, we wouldn't get deadlocked. I'll still stay on the committee. We'll keep working as it is. I don't mind. But if somebody else out there that wants it, that does not have a,
We nominate Aaron because he's not here.
that's dirty.
We have to, right now, we have it set up so we have 3 people per committee. So if we juggle people around, then somebody would be unfairly like double.
Or there would be a
odds.
swap out.
Yeah, we'd have to swap somebody out.
I don't mind staying on the committee as long as we
I think
we
we've
did-
made it work
we did it for
now.
a year.
Yeah.
okay.
The next up we have is negotiations committee. We have Nicole, Betsy, and Andrea.
Mhm.
Are we good with that? Fabulous. Next is policy. It's Aaron, Nicole, and myself. Aaron said he was fine to stay on the committee. Nicole, you're good? Okay. Shared services is Kirk and Andrea Wadsworth. Good, okay. Strategic planning is, which is over anyways, right? Kind of, but
Yeah,
not
right.
really. Is, wait a minute, Randy and Nicole. Randy's saying yes. Nicole, I don't think you, yes, no? Were you on it? No?
Well, my name was on there, but I didn't go. I couldn't go to any. I'm good. No,
I'll be on that one if you want.
I'm off.
All right, Betsy, I'm putting you on.
Mhm.
And Nicole, I'm taking you off. Technology, I've got Aaron, Betsy, and Andrea. Whoop, I scrolled too fast, sorry about that. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, wait a minute, I got it too big, so I can't see. Like, I got Aaron, who said he was happy to stay on that one. Randy. I think it's Kirk and Betsy.
Agree with that.
I would like to come off that because I'll be on strategic.
Okay. All right. So that everybody's settled in with the regular committees. And then when we meet at the next meetings, at your next meetings, you're going to need to revote your chairs. Okay. All right. Next, we need to talk about Union 29. We need 2 members and an alternate. Am I right in that? Yes? Okay. So who, does anybody want to nominate?
2
anybody?
others besides you.
2 others besides me,
Right.
sorry, yes. I'm a given. We lose somebody? Oh, no.
Who are the current?
The current people are, I'm sorry, I gotta make this much smaller. Sorry about that, everybody. The current people are Randy, Andrea Wadsworth, myself, and Kirk is our alternate.
Nominate Randy Kinnis.
I second.
I nominate Andrea Wadsworth. I
Wait a
nominate the
minute,
current slate.
We gotta start with the first one.
Oh, okay.
So we nominate, so we've got a nomination with Kirk. I lied, with Randy. So we need to, any discussion on that one? right.
Who seconded that one? I'm sorry. So I've Kirk nominated Randy.
Yep. Nicole. I
All
think-
seconded.
Yep. I don't think we had any, no discussion, correct? All right. And then we need to have a roll call vote.
Mr. Kennis,
Yes.
Mrs. Kushar,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Ms. Strickler,
Yes.
Mrs. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Okay. Now, who is the next person?
May I nominate the rest of the slate?
You may nominate the next person.
Okay, I nominate Andrea Lorma, or Andrea
I was gonna
Wadsworth.
say, I'm all
Sorry,
right.
you already. Andrea Wadsworth.
I second.
Any discussion? Okay, now we need another roll call vote, please, Brenda.
Mr. Kenneth,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Wyman,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols.
Yes.
Ms. Strickler.
Yes.
Mrs. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Now we need an alternate.
I nominate Kurt Nichols as the alternate.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call again, Brenda.
Mr. Kenneth,
Yes.
Kirk. Mrs. Fisher,
Yes. Sorry, couldn't hear you.
Ms. Larman,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Ms. Strickler,
Yes.
Mrs. Wadsworth.
Yes.
All right. I think we got it done.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody. All right, we have no old business. Woo-hoo. New business, we are scrapping the Unit A and Unit C contract because the negotiations committee was not allowed to meet, so that's going to be off the table for right now. The next thing we need to discuss is the format for our meetings moving forward. As of July something, I forget what the
15.
date is. What?
15.
15. We are no longer allowed to meet in a full Zoom format, but there is a workaround. And that is if we want to continue to meet in this kind of form, i.e. the hybrid form that we've been working in, we can do so. However, 51% of the committee has to meet in person. Only 49% of the committee can be over Zoom. And the entire audience can be on Zoom, but people could also be here and on our OWL if they chose to do so. So we can continue to do that. We just have to guarantee that 51% of our population,
Does that include?
including me,
And does that include Mike?
no, just me,
No.
just the chair has to be here. So I would have to be here. So we can continue to use this mode, or we have to go back to all in-person meetings. So what we need to decide as a committee is, do we want to continue to have this hybrid meeting format, which I will give you my opinion on, and then you all can give me your opinions on, because we need to talk about this as a committee. I think we've had better participation from our town in this format. People show up because they can have us on and feed their children, put their children to bed, bathe their children, whatever they're doing with their children at home. And it has allowed people to work late and still Zoom in, right? Zoom in from their mom's house if they have to go pick up their kids. I know you made it back, but if you had to still be at your mom's house, you could still be here. Kirk, bless his heart, is saying if he needs to be at the meeting in July, he's going to Zoom in from the Cape, right? So it allows us to still have that sort of flexibility. That means 51% of us have to show up, which means four of us need to be present.
I like having
Does that
that
make sense?
flexibility, even if we're all here in person,
Right,
woohoo, but if we're not, it allows the,
right.
it does mean individual roll call at every meeting for every.
Technically, according to our policy, we're supposed to be doing individual roll calls to all our meetings anyways.
Oh,
We
Okay.
found that out when we were doing our budget.
and,
Thanks.
okay, so
Yeah.
never mind.
Well, because
We're all
we
here.
have the technology, that this makes sense to keep the flexible option and just, do our best to get there. I mean, obviously, Nicole, myself had a situation today where we had to change things and we were able to be here for the meeting. Otherwise, maybe we weren't able to be here for the meeting. So I think keeping flexibility is a smart move going forward.
like I said, I think it needs to be a team decision. So I want to hear from everybody sort of what their thoughts are. So.
That's why I stated my thought.
I like,
agree. I was just going to say I agree for all of the reasons mentioned above. I don't have anything else to add, but I agree because there would be times that maybe we wouldn't be able to be here, which now I am here. You know, my husband's working late, my kids are playing, here I am. I might Zoom in August from my camper. So I think this is the best option.
I like having the flexibility, even though I don't really use it. I like the ability for others to have, if childcare, whatever the issue is, to have that ability. I do try to make it to all the meetings I possibly can. My work schedule is a little funny, but that hopefully should be changing here soon. So I'll have a lot more availability in the evenings. So I will say now to the committee that I will be here every single meeting that I possibly can in person to help us get that 51%. If I can't be here, you guys will know.
You're such a team player.
Just listen. If it means that other people can Zoom from wherever, then I'm all for it. But I have no problem doing that. And I'll be here as long as I'm in the meeting. I'll be here.
And I think the 51% is probably the 51% of the people present. I don't think it's a 51% of the school committee. I think it needs to be the 51% of the people that are present.
The quorum, right? 51% of a quorum.
You can check that with
I'll check.
Russell for me. Thanks.
I would think it's the committee. I would think it's the committee.
The whole committee.
Otherwise, you could easily opt out and say, I just won't participate.
Because that would mean today we are not
Right.
Correct.
legal.
Right.
What we would have held Aaron.
We wouldn't let Aaron
I
go.
wouldn't let Aaron go. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're 50-50 today.
I'll ask
And
attorney.
that's why I was asking.
I'll ask Attorney
why-
Dupre.
Yeah. Ask us. Andrea.
Oh,
I give your 5 cents worth.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think there's something to be said about the committee being in the same room at the same time, which is great. But I also think you get more participation from the community members, which is the whole premise of representing the board members. That's who you represent. So I do like the hybrid model. I'm happy to make the motion if you'd like. For the Lee School Committee to adopt a hybrid model of meeting going forward for the FY23 school year. Are you doing it by year and you're going to do this annually, or are you just adopting it going forward?
I think we can do it going forward because that's what
There's no end date.
There's no end date to this, so I think we can just do it going forward. And then if we want to change it, we can just change it, I think.
Okay, so I make a motion that the Lee School Committee adopt a hybrid model for their meeting format from this point forward.
Okay. It's all you.
Any discussion? More
Does this
discussion.
apply to subcommittees as well?
It didn't say anything about subcommittees. It just said about the actual school committee. Add that to your question.
That would be,
Russell.
yeah, that would mean that if you have a 3%.
Yeah, because
subcommittee,
because you have a chair for your.
the chair and somebody would have to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mike's making a note. Thank you, Mike.
I'll research that tonight.
Thank you so much. Any other discussion? That was a good question. Brenda, can you roll call us on that one?
Mr. Kenneth,
Yes.
Jerk,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Ms. Strickler,
Yes.
Mrs. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, next thing on our agenda is our future business. Our next school committee meeting, which is scheduled to be July. Well, originally it was supposed to be the second week in July. Mike is away at a conference, and we will need him potentially for contracts. The following week, he is taking his beautiful freshman daughter to her orientation. And I am also away because I will be at a conference. And with our new model, I have to be here. And so we are proposing to move the school committee meeting to the 26th of July. Does that work for everybody? Kirk is willing to hybrid in. But because Kirk won't be here, we have to make sure we're gonna have 4 of us here.
I may not. I'm in the midst now of potentially planning a trip out of country.
Good for you.
So I may not be available, but I might be.
I'll be in person.
All right, so Nicole can be in person. Andrea, you can be in person? Okay.
I will too.
Okay, so it sounds like we've got our 50%
Yep.
or 51%, so we're good to go. Okay, so the 26 works for everybody? Okay, and you can zoom in?
Yes.
Kirk's gonna zoom in. And Betsy's gonna zoom in from whatever country she's in.
No.
Betsy says, no. No. Okay, perfect. And then the last thing that we have on our agenda is executive session. Finish what you got going.
No, I was gonna say, do you want me to make a motion to go into executive session?
Yes, please.
And do we have to close this meeting first?
She's gonna do it when she says it.
I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, and not to reconvene in open session.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, Brenda, can you roll call us?
Mr. Ennis,
Yes.
Mrs. Kusher,
Yes.
Ms. Larmen,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Ms. Strickler,
Yes.
and Mrs. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Thank you to our audience. We're kicking you out now.